full on with progression. At a storied Orlando playground known as The Projects, the sport's most valuable players are on the line for wake comps, rail jams, and all manner of tow-ins, taking their ride to ridiculousness.
Right on, what's up? Got Byerly here. We're at the sign up for the second annual Toe Jam All Wakeskate contest.
Well, we're at the Projects Park at the second annual Toe Jam.
It's really good. Like, this contest is the best contest of the year by far, and it's going to be an exciting weekend, I think. It's going to be fun for sure.
This event just brings into light wake skating, which is kind of a new deal when it comes to the wake sports. It's not really that new, but it's one of the most progressive parts of the wake sports, wake skating.
You know, we started doing the whole wake skating thing just to get away from all the flips and the spins and just for fun. Personally, right now, I love wake skating way more than wakeboarding. I don't have time to wakeboard. I gotta stay on my wake skate. It's progressing so much. You gotta work at your tricks, you know. It makes you feel really good when you like finally land that kick flip or varial flip or whatever you've been working on.
Now Mark's Prefontaine from O'Neill. You know, Mark, in your line of work, you get to back events all the time, but rarely do you get to back a rider the way you're doing here. Second year in a row at the Byerly Toe Jam.
Yeah, we're really proud to be able to help Byerly out and support this event, get involved, really take the whole wake skating, wakeboarding to a whole nother level, progress the sport, make things happen, get the riders involved, and really have them elevated on their own terms. So that's kind of what we're here to do.
There's like 12 invited riders that are already in for the weekend or whatever, so they've got 4 wildcard spots, and there's probably 12 people out here trying to fight for 4 wildcard spots. So basically we're just out here qualifying against each other and riding and just trying to get into the main thing for this weekend.
Scott Byerly incorporates every toe-in aspect of the sport into the event, and riders love how all have a role in the Toe Jam.
Scott put this on last year, it went really well, and now they have a couple new rails at the Projects. Projects is a sweet site, you know, and finals should be really amazing to watch, you know, because you got all the top, I think it's like 10 guys that are invited, and hopefully it'll be just spectacular to watch. And now they have a new pool gap. I just checked it out, it looks really sweet, so that should come out for some good turnout.
Scott stepped it up and decided to make a wake skate contest that was the perfect format, in my opinion. You've got boat that you run one contest, you've got purely rails and some water tricks in his other, and then you got the winch where you pull it out of a pool down a stunt. And it's kind of all the 3 things that wake skating, it's combining everything in one contest.
Who in your opinion, top 3 guys wake skating right now, boat and rails, if they had to go out right now?
Nah, I can't pick it. I'll give you top 5 though.
Top 5.
Thomas HORRELL, Scott Byerly, Aaron Reed, George Daniels, Brandon Thomas.
That's 5. We got, what about Danny Hampson, Brian Grubb?
I'm gonna give my favorite. Oh, Brian Grubb.
Danny Hampson, Brian Grubb.
Well, I gotta say Danny Hampson's my favorite wake skater.
Because of his style or his personality? Kid's funny.
Both. He's dirty and he's funny.
Dirty as in doesn't take showers, or dirty as in he's got a sailor's mouth?
Yeah, he's got good style.
Good style, dirty. Okay, so now we're using dirty as good style.
Yeah.
That's dirty.
Byerly here here. We're at the premiere of the project's new video, Genetics.
You can't have a space like the Projects without documenting the Daily Shred. Their newly formed P-Unit filmers cracked the wake riding code in Genetics.
Film that we just saw, Genetics, it's the new Projects movie. It's everyone that hangs out at the Projects, works there. Pat, BT, Keith, all those guys just been filming like everyone riding out there and stuff, and that was just what they've been doing like the past year or so. So it's sick.
Up next, get a foot in the door of the Byerly Toe Jam when wake skaters give it up to make the cut or visit the Last Chance qualifier. Life in the Projects has never sounded this good. Flawless weather turns this showdown into a throwdown. Like in Byerly's original plan, the jam is an open format, allowing AMs to compete with pros. Young guys like Kyle Walton and Clint Tompkins have a shot against heavies Brian Grubb, Brandon Thomas, Thomas Horrell, and Danny Hampson. Up first, they'll be blowing up by boat with plenty of runs.
You know, up into this draw, I just came out here and wanted to have fun, you know, see how well I could do against, you know, this is the world's best wake skaters, you know.
Still a teenager, Chase Gregory already placed in the Pro Tour Top 10 2 years running. It's like he can do anything on a board he sets his mind to.
I thought I had no chance, and so I just went out there and had fun. I just went out there and just rode, you know. I didn't want to land anything big. I just wanted to go out and just have fun.
Another teen, Danny Hampson, is fresh off Wakeboarding Magazine's Wake Skater of the Year award. Byerly is where he gets his season going.
I was just out of town for like a month, so I didn't have any boards really when I came home, and I came home straight to this, so I'm sharing Danny's board with him.
Aaron Reed is a player himself. His ollies have real pop, and on wake tricks, he holds on to everything he puts out there.
Aaron, your LCQ heat was filled with not just one other rider, you had two other riders in there. Did it make it more difficult being in that heat compared to some of the others?
Yeah, I don't know. I would have really hated to ride last in the heat. I ended up getting to ride first in the heat, so that made it nice. I didn't have the pressure of watching like two other people.
The boats allow wake skaters to bust bigger wakeboard-style tricks. Without the support of Correct Craft and Nautiques, forget it.
Joining me right now, Gary Meloon from Correct Craft. Gary, you've had a relationship with Scott Byerly that goes back more than a decade. Here you are seeing a progressive event. Does it feel good to you to be along for that ride with it, with your products here at the Correct Craft boats?
Yes, it does, JB. It's very proud to be here associated with Scott Byerly, the godfather of wakeboarding, and now with what he's doing with wake skating and the toe jam. It was a great privilege to be a part of this event.
Ryan Lamas, if you'll come over and join us, you know, you have a lot of interaction with these athletes here. You deal with them on a business front, but yet you're out here seeing it actually happening. I mean, it's got to be cool for you.
Oh, it's unbelievable, JB, man, to see the way wake skating has progressed and what Scott's doing for the sport, taking it to the next level by getting, you know, the media involved and just spreading the word about where the industry's going is unreal.
The man behind this scene gets his flow going. Scott Byerly is known for taking big risks, and even when they don't pay off, he's not backing down.
with Scott Byerly, whose namesake is here associated with the Toe Jam. Scott, talk to me about your inspiration behind putting this event together in the first place.
Well, me and O'Neill talked about it like 2-3 years ago, you know, just doing an all wake skate event. Made it happen last year.
Through this event and the street jams, he innovated to bring a taste of wake skating to the city. Scott Byerly is moving the sport in new directions.
Byerly, you know, what can you really say? Just probably the most, you know, innovative and recognized rider in history, so.
Yeah, wake skating's came a long way since when we started. We put Astro Deck on top of a Flight 69 board. And HYPERLITE, we're always like making new boards every 2 years. This right here, we have wider tails. Took the step down rail out, put a little more of a kick tail in it, more concave. We got the lock. You can take this off. You don't want to ride with this all the time. You only want to ride with this if you're hitting rails and you want to do like nose slide, tail slide. It's a little heavier than last year's board. We have these rods that run through the middle of it, so it gives it a lot more weight and it flips and spins a lot better. But that's the board for 05, 06.
Scott is an amazing person. He's unbelievable on the water. He's always going to be a front runner on whatever he does. That's just the kind of person he is. He's dedicated and so good at everything he does. He's awesome out there.
I don't know where it's going to stop, you know? Skateboarding's still progressing, and this is pretty much the closest thing to skateboarding, I think.
Definitely a big reason why I wanted to be a wakeboarder in the first place was watching Scott, so.
My twist on it, you know, I don't know, I was just having fun doing my own thing. I wasn't trying to like change the sport.
We'll be watching Byerly in the head-to-head rounds when we return to watch wake skating creativity continue. We'll be back with Byerly, but first we're coming up where it's head-to-head heats from here on out. They'll be competing through quarters, semis, and finals, plus riding into the night in the winch-towed rail jam. Up first, it's Ships Ahoy. Leading off, we have Brian GRUBB versus Chase Gregory, a young Charger taking on a smooth vet. And with a run like that, it's go time for GRUBB.
I heard my name, then I made it to the, past the LCQ. I was excited, and then I heard Chase Gregory versus Brian GRUBB. I was like, oh no,
Brian GRUBB, you're a guy who took ownership of this event last year in 2004, 2005. Looks like you're right back on top again.
Yeah, I just got back from the first run. The wake's sick. Like the Nautique's throwing out a great wake today, so it's killer. Like it's gonna be a fun contest.
Scott Byerly takes on last year's world champ George Daniels. They have contrasting styles. Daniels tall and lanky. Byerly straight ahead. And Daniels whips up a winner this round. Danny Hampson takes on Tim Kovacic next. Hampson qualified with a bullet and is one of the up-and-comers in the sport. His run is only beginning. Built on 88 acres, the projects have grown into a world-famous spot for pros and a private camp for amateurs. Wakeboarder Sean Murray's in the house.
Okay, so here at the projects, we partnered up with Scott Byerly, the guy who kind of really got things going with the sport of wake skating, and now you guys are pulling students on a weekly basis where they can come and learn to hit rails, ride the boat, do everything all in one area.
Yeah, it's so much fun out here with the kids. We have a huge house, brand new house up there with 4 or 5 bedrooms, and there's 4 of us live here, me, Rob Jakes, Keith LIDBERG, and Ryan Doyle, who coach, and BT comes on weekends. Scott's always here every day. He lives like 10 minutes away, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good atmosphere. We have so many lakes and the rail park that's all protected by this forest line around us, so it stays real nice and calm.
In the semis, Daniels pulverizes Thomas and GRUBB does in Hampson. Now 2 men enter, but only one leaves the champs. Daniels wins Byerly's coin toss and elects to go second so he can see what he's up against.
George Daniels has to go, but probably about the most gnarly run we've ever seen. Let's see it.
I don't know, that's crazy. Like, I just trying to just flow, and I don't know, just keep it going. I can't really remember what I just did, but.
According to Grubb's many fans, he's already got this win in the bag, but Daniels still has a chance to answer. It's too many falls for Daniels, allowing Grubb to run off with a carved trophy and the win in the boat launch of the Byerly Toe Jam. The freaks do come out at night, especially when they have a one-of-a-kind pool setup with a winch to haul each rider into a rail slide at speed.
Friday night we're gonna have the best trick contest pulled by the winch. Aaron Reed won it last year. What we have is it's a winch. It's a 8-horse Briggs & Stratton motor. Give it gas when the rope gets tight, and it'll pull like a 200-pound person out of the water. Like, it's got so much power. It'll go probably close to 30 miles an hour if you have it pinned all the way, maybe. Kind of dangerous. You know, like the rope, you know, we have a brake on it, which you can stop the rope. But if you didn't have this brake, this thing would keep spinning.
A successful bomb drop to a tree stop, man. What happened there at the tail end?
I don't know. The winch was going fast, and I wasn't letting go, JP.
Grubb owns the night as well. He's 2 up on the competition, and there's more wake skating to come from the Byerly Toe Jam.
End of the day on Friday. Once again, Brian Grubb walks away the toast of the town. 2 efforts, 2 trophies. Nice job, Brian.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I felt super comfortable on my board today, and just, I don't know, just put it all together, I guess.
A full-on skateboard obstacle is where these guys really shine, starting off with stiff competition in 4 heats of qualifiers.
Heat 2 of the qualifying rounds had some of the sport's biggest names in it, but it was Clint Tompkins coming in there, winning the heat.
The big names Tompkins defeats are Ryan Doyle, Danny Hampson, and 2-event wake winner Brian Grubb.
I knew it was going to be a hard heat because like Doyle lives out here, so he pretty much knows every inch on these rails, and Grubb's always good, and Danny's, you know, one of the best. It's a tough heat for sure.
Yeah, it was pretty diverse, pretty dynamic, especially when you got a guy like Clint Tompkins who's opening up some of the bigger rails.
Yeah, he got on the performance rail and hit some of the bigger stuff out there, so looked pretty good on it.
That's kind of the stuff I like the bigger, I don't know, just if I can hit it, you know, I want to try anyway, so trying not to hurt myself.
The other 3 heats are successfully finished off by George Daniels, Thomas Horrell, and local Brandon Thomas, who talks with wakeboarder Sean Murray about what gets him where he wants to be.
Brandon Thomas, wake skate extraordinaire. Tell me a little bit about why you choose to ride this board.
I choose to ride this board. First of all, this year, this model, this one's a little wider, and I like the width of it. And then also, it's a good board. It has a lot of pop. I came up with the idea of putting weights about here and here.
So they're inside.
They're inside, yeah. It's kind of simulate trucks on a skateboard and give you the same motion with the board. So that's what we did this year, and it seems to be working well. I love it, yeah. It works good for flip tricks and shove it just stays, real sturdy.
Thomas is first in the water in head-to-head action against Brian Grubb. Two wake skating titans riding to win in a finals-worthy matchup. With smooth landings on tough tricks, Thomas steals a surprise win.
Now, a lot of guys have been talking about the progression going on here this weekend. They're also talking about the new riders. You drew one in your heat here. Kyle Walton, who's out there killing it himself.
Yeah, he's really good. He really stepped it up last night on the winch event, the best trick contest. I couldn't believe how good he was riding. It's crazy.
How does that work for you, basically getting to see these guys ride for the first time in this competition environment?
Yeah, it's crazy because I've been watching these guys in videos forever, so being able to ride with them against them is just nuts. I just went up against Aaron Reed and I was nervous, shaking, I can't believe I'm even riding against him,
Walton loses, Reed advances. Then event namesake Scott Byerly goes up against the killer Clint Tompkins. Tompkins is victorious. Thomas Horrell faces George Daniels, and current world champ Daniels knocks out the well-versed challenger Horrell with a flurry of combos before his luck runs out. Facing Brandon Thomas in the semis, Daniels can't pull it off, then goes for a crowd pleaser. That doesn't count for score.
It would apparently out of course, but you didn't seem too bummed about it.
No, dude, I was just stuck. They're stuck it in the contest. Let everyone else see what I could do.
The finals are set. Steely-eyed Clint Tompkins will come face-to-face with cool contender Brandon Thomas. We'll see who can get a leg up in the second annual Byerly Toe Jam.
Flipping a coin to see who's going to go first. Head. Oh, snap.
Thomas calls it, sending Tompkins into the water first.
Big strategy in that. I get to see what he does.
That was tech.
Wrapping up the riding here at the Byerly Toe Jam in the rail division, Brandon Thomas. Fitting that you put a punctuation mark on it. You were killing it out there, I'd say, huh?
Man, yeah, we're out there and having fun. I think Clint and I both had a good time, man. We had a good time. We're both glad both of us made it this far, and it's been a good day.
You guys have all talked about, having fun, going into it relaxed. You got your friends up on the beach. What are you out there riding for? You're out there trying that big spin all the time. You truly look like you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, I really do, and biggest thing for me is show people what the sport's about.
Clint Tompkins made some waves on last year's Pro Tour, and he returns to the projects to fight through to a commanding first ever win. Wake skating progression will continue on in the next Byerly Toe Jam.
Interesting. You did it this time from the first position coming off the dock. Did you know you had to go out there and just really lay it down and give something a little more difficult for Brandon to try to top?
Yeah, there's a reason why he's in the last heat too, and he lives out here, so he knows every inch of these rails, and he gets dirty out here. So I just brought what I could to the table, and today it worked out, so it's good.
Everybody had a great time. Everybody talks about the progression out here. Well, it was shown throughout the day, but these two guys, top of the heat, Brian Grubb gets best pool rail, best wake, and Clint Tompkins walking away right now. Best rails behind the PWC here at the Byerly Toe Jam.